Sign fraction addition or subtraction, they say this one's basic because they don't do weird stuff like put the negative in the bottom, which you really can't do. We can on our Casios though. We're just going to add and subtract fractions. We know if we add and subtract fractions, we have to have a common denominator, right? Your common denominator needs to be a positive number. So if there's a negative in front, you're going to put it with the top number. So usually instead of making two fractions, I usually just make one bar because I know the bottom number is going to be the same thing. You can make two separate ones if you want. My common denominator, if I have 6 and 5, is going to be 30. The easiest way to make the common denominator is multiply them together, but that's not always the least common denominator, right? If you have a 4 and an 8, you could just use 8 because 4 divides into 8. Or if you have 4 and 6, you can use 12. But if you're stuck and you're not sure, just multiply them together. 6 times 5 is 30. Then I got to make my equivalent fraction. 6 divides into 30 5 times. And so when I think about this, I'm taking 5 times negative 5 because that negative is in front. And so I'm going to have negative 25 up there. 5 goes into 30 6 times. 6 times my positive 3 is positive 18. Now we know when we add and subtract fractions after we found our common denominator, we're just really working with the numerators. Negative 25 plus 18 would give me negative 7. And so I'm going to have negative 7/30. Notice on my final answer I put the negative in front. If you put the negative on top on Alex, it's going to say it's correct. However, if I have this, it means negative 7 divided by 30. And a negative divided by a positive means the whole thing is negative, not necessarily just the top. So they put the negative in front because that's the best form if you have a negative fraction. So number 8, my common denominator would be 15. 5 goes into 15. 3 times the 3 on top. 9. 3 goes into 15. 5 times, and I think of that as a minus 2, so 5 times minus 2 is negative 10. So I have 9 minus 10 up there. 9 minus 10 is, so negative 1/15 going to be my answer. And number 9 says negative 2/3 plus 2/5. Again, my common denominator is 15. 3 goes into 15. 5 times that minus 2 would give me negative 10. 5 goes into 15. 3 times my positive 2 is 6. She's jumping ahead of me. And so negative 10 plus 6 is?
Negative 4.
So negative 4/15 would be my answer. Now, for those who aren't used to using your calculator, the fraction button is that one that has the A, B, C on it. So just for fun, if we check that last problem, you would use the negative sign. The negative one is the one in parentheses. On the Casio, if you happen to use the subtraction instead of the negative, as long as your calculator is cleared out, it goes, oh yeah, that really should be negative, and it counts it. But this is the negative sign. So negative 2, fraction button 3, negative 2/3. And then plus 2, fraction button 5. And if you hit equals, should give you negative 4/15, right? So my suggestion is do it on your paper. If you're not sure if you did it right, check it with your calculator. See if you get the same thing both ways.